Peeps. So I'm messing around with some things this afternoon, and I thought we'd try this out. See if it works the way I want it to. How we all doing tonight? Who all's here? That's the question. What's up, Fresh Dave? Yeah, we're giving it a go. See if it works out the way I want it to. Not quite happy with the angle, but I wanted to be able to get everything in the background. Got my new banners this week. Actually, a couple days ago. And I wanted to get, you know, the guitars and the models over there. You can't really see them very well, but they're there. Oh dear. Yeah, now everyone can look at my mug while I paint. Kind of. I may be hunched over most of the time. We'll see if it helps. If everyone can see my face. Or it may be a hindrance. We'll see. Yeah, you know, that was my goal, to be just like you. But I am just over here. I'm finishing up this incursor. Not totally thrilled with how he turned out, but that's because I base coated him in black before I found my good method. I told her she should change her name because she's adopted the tag in the Discord and in my chat. Gang is all here. I don't mind having a face cam. I'm just really picky about my angle. And this one kind of sucks. I don't know. I want to get the banner and I want to get the models because they're right there. You can kind of make them out. I need to get them lit up a little better. She is a missus. We're just missing Malidus. Let's see, what would be the best idea? Yeah, get it right. Actually, we'll do our 2-to-1. So 2 parts non-oil, 1 part water. I am in the shading step. Was that supposed to be a pun? Faceplant fans? Oh gosh, I don't know. Do I have fans? I think you have to actually have fans in order to have a name for them. Face fans? That doesn't really roll off the tongue. 3 Patreon supporters that have fans? Well, you're one of them. You don't count. Here whenever I see a notification. See, someone who's honest. Not a fan. Just someone who likes to watch people. and talk a lot. You know, if you can count to 4, you can have the same IQ as an Ogren. That's what I was going to ask you, Rushtiv. Do the Ascalons have Ogrens? Hey, Malodus, we were just talking about you. Back from D&D? Lucky you. I am not. I haven't played D&D in... When was the last time we played? A month ago? Face, it's called yapping now. Fine. I am a yapper. The whole gang is here. So I'm committing the ultimate sacrilege, and I am putting Nuln Oil on yellow. But it looks fine when it's 2-to-1 water. Because I don't like... I have sepia, Seraphim sepia, but I don't like the way it looks on yellow. It's too orange, and I don't like the orange. I like cold yellow as opposed to warm yellow. All good things, all good things. It's been less than a month. I honestly don't remember the last time we played. Nuln Oil. N-U-N-L. Or N-U-L-N. Sure, some abhumans could be integrated, but to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of them. Lore-wise, I could implement them, but I don't think I'd ever implement them in my army list. Really should use this as a chance to paint my Land Raider for tomorrow's game, but I'm not feeling it. Well, that's sad. I'm sure your Land Raider's missing some love. And I get that about not really being a fan of him. I kind of like them just because big dumb brute. And I really like them if they fall to chaos. Even though that's a very rare instance. AFK. You're AFK? If he's AFK, he won't answer. Probably the best incursor I've ever made, and I put the least amount of work into it. Because all my others look like trash. Because I used the old method for them. Well, besides Malodus not working on his Land Raider, what's everyone else doing? Anybody else doing anything productive? Hobby-wise particularly, but if there are any non-hobby people. Looking at you, Raincloud. All guard regiments make heavy use of abhumans. A lot of pretty common ones, only use a few types. Holding off on painting till I get a proper light. Nephi XL2 on my Amazon list, just waiting to see if there's a discount for Prime Day. And building my Dorn. Tonight I'm just getting a Fallout 4 mod list to work. Ugh. I haven't played Fallout 4 in a hot minute. Kinda miss it. It's a great game. I'm a little more of a Fallout 3 guy, but Fallout 4 is pretty great. Speaking of bad gaming habits, I spent last night playing CK3. That is something I've never done. Fallout 2, New Vegas all the way. I own all of the Fallout games, but I've only played the New Vegas 3 and 4. But I have 1 and 2. And it's been on my list to play them, I just haven't had time. It's a little blotchy, but it's fine. And I've never actually played New Vegas all the way through. I started a new playthrough not that long ago, and I didn't make it very far. Not because I didn't want to, it's because I just ran out of time. What do we think about the banner? Did we like the banner? It was a spontaneous purchase last week. You know, to represent the best Legion. Surrounded with Skyrim mod list. Not really feeling fantasy tonight. I need to fix my Skyrim mod list because every time I open Skyrim and I make it like 30 steps away from where I spawned in, it crashes. You like it? I'm thinking about getting a Blood Angels one too, and maybe swapping them out every once in a while, because I don't have room to hang 2 of them up. But we are representing the 4th to the best of our ability. I could paint this whole room in hazard stripes. There's an idea. No, that might get me in trouble. Oh, Mrs. Faceplant, take that? She won't. She'd make me paint over it. See, this is why I need you guys. You guys need to talk sense into me. Because I clearly can't do it myself. As long as it's out of sight. I mean, it would be in sight. And these are paneled walls, too, so they're basically already lined out for me. Green Light Trooper. I just gotta buy the yellow paint. I think I've got black paint downstairs. No, it would only be where the camera sees. Hazard stripes. The yellow and black that you see on there. I'm sensing the fact that she's reeling it back in, guys. No, that problem's already been solved. Well, mission failed, Rushtiv. Also, if there's anybody new here, convert the basement. That means I have to climate control the basement. For anybody new here, we do Warhammer stuff. You can join the Discord if you want. We have a lot of fun conversations over there. Modeling and homebrew. I did make an announcement yesterday. If anybody has any homebrews that they would like to share, I'm considering at the end of July taking those homebrews and reviewing them live on stream. And then from there, giving my thoughts, some ideas, some simple workshops to improve, or I don't know, something of that nature. So if anyone wants to contribute, go to the Discord, and in the Homebrew Submissions channel, go ahead and drop those in there. And sometime at the end of July, we'll have a stream, and I will read them live and give thoughts. If everyone wants to keep their homebrews to themselves and quiet and not want anybody else to see them, one, I understand. And two, don't. Because I like homebrews. It's one of the best parts of the whole hobby. Will I ever do a spontaneous stream where me and Raincloud answer questions, drink nasty sodas, and eat gross jelly beans? That is up in the air. We haven't discussed it. It has been talked about once. Seems time consuming and he doesn't have a lot of time. Definitely finalize some stuff for CSM and send it in. I do have models to paint. I have a lot of models to paint. Especially after Tuesday, because my Death Watch veterans will be here. And I have a feeling we're going to be working on those for a while. But yes, I have a lot of models to paint. But I'm not complaining. If I always have a backlog of models, then I'm doing it right. And I may or may not be going to a Warhammer store next week. Didn't wear my new shirt? No, I didn't. I thought I was saving that for a special occasion. We're ripping Gen 1 Pokemon instead. Planning on primarisizing them? Or am I keeping them firstborn? I am going to keep them firstborn. Because they will be the firstborn models that I will have ever actually put together. And I like firstborn, and I think firstborn fit a little bit better in the Death Watch if I want to add my own chapters. Because the Death Watch that have been primarisified, like the Primaris that were recruited by the Death Watch during Gilliman's whole deal, a lot of them didn't have a designated chapter. So they all just became generic Death Watch Marines. Up until recently, where their identities in their home chapters started to become a little more established, and then Primaris Marines from other chapters would start to come in. But I kind of like that they are firstborn, and I think I'm just going to keep them that way. And if the base sizes are the same, then it's not going to be a huge deal. Favorite Pokemon? Superior. My very first Pokemon I ever actually played was Pokemon White 2. And I got Snivy as my starter and evolved him to Superior. And he has been my favorite ever since. Also, for anyone else new here, we do have a Patreon, and if you join said Patreon at the $5 tier or higher, you can have access to some special conversations in the Discord that I contribute to quite frequently. There's a lot of homebrew discussion. There's room for collaboration between my homebrews and your own. We also have, you can see my works in progress. If I ever do something that's not on stream, I'll most of the time put it on there. Also have exclusive patron chat when you can talk specifically to me. And you can vote in polls about what I'm going to do next if I have to make a decision and I don't want to. For instance, this week everyone voted for me to do the Death Watch Guild team, which I was okay with because that's what I wanted to do anyway. Can't say I'm the biggest fan of Pokemon, but I do have a lot of cards that my friends and I would just trade because the art looked cool. That's one of the things with Magic, too, is the art just looks awesome. Great oddball ones. Suffice to say, you didn't grow up playing the games. I didn't. I didn't really play a ton of video games growing up. I think the closest thing I played to Pokemon was a super obscure DS game called Fossil Fighters. And it was fantastic. It was one of my favorites. Group of friends. Didn't touch a Pokemon game until like middle school. And I wasn't super enthralled by it. I think I was early high school, honestly. And I did get into it super hard for a long time. Like, I bought the games as they came out sequentially after that. Then I just kind of fell off because like after the Switch came out and they started coming out with a bunch of games for that, it was just too much and I didn't like it anymore. I play MTG because the art looks cool and the card game is fun, relatively easy to learn. I attempted MTG, but I couldn't get anyone else to play with me, so I just kind of fell off. And then I found Warhammer, and that it was no looking back after that. So I have all my cards still. I didn't have anything cool. I just kind of built a bunch of random decks that were like super low power. I didn't really care at that point. I need some more. Over here. Big history nerd, love anything related to warfare from the 18th century through modern era, essentially just firearms that were widely used. I consider myself a little bit of a history nerd. I'm not as well versed as some people, but I do enjoy history, ancient history, modern history. I really excelled at it in high school. I wouldn't say I was passionate about it, but it was something that I enjoyed. I just feel like there's a lot more pressure now that you guys can see what I'm doing and my facial expressions. But there's really not. Never got into MTG outside of a few Cube Commander games. Did really like collecting more recent but obscure MTG called Sorcery. Massive fan of history as well. That seems to be an ongoing theme with Warhammer fans. I've noticed just in the last couple years that I've been into it is everyone who gets into it are history nerds. Favorite historical period? I really like World War I and World War II. I would also say probably the colonial period, I always thought was really interesting. Late Roman Empire, Byzantium, Persia, early Muslim caliphates, Central Europe, 14th, 16th centuries are my favorite. See, I don't focus on history as much as I used to. A lot of it's more modern history, like within the last century. Good Will Hunting and It's a Wonderful Life. Interesting choices. I cannot get Mrs. Faceplant to watch It's a Wonderful Life, despite my attempts. I don't know if I can nail down a favorite movie. Because there are a lot of movies that I like, especially ones from when I was a kid. And I don't really watch movies anymore. Because I don't have a lot of time. But the one that sticks out in my head the most is the Lego Movie. That's probably the one I quote the absolute most in day-to-day life. Favorite Roman Emperor? Watch it because of my mom. It's her favorite movie, and I will always think of her because of it. My mom is like super into movies from that era. From like late 40s, early 50s. She loves those movies. Every time I walk into their house, my parents' house, she's always got something like that. You're just a Disney nut. Pre-2015 Disney. Before they destroyed one of the greatest IPs of all time. That being Star Wars, for anyone curious. Marcus Aurelius? Interesting. Listen, I know you. It's not like we've been married for an undisclosed period of time. I think this boy's almost done. I gotta do the glowing bits on his bolter and his visor. Can't say I've been the biggest fan of Disney's movies with Star Wars either. So sad the POTC ended. Yeah, because of the Johnny Depp drama. So grew up watching History Channel instead of Disney movies, so that may also be the reason as to why I am the way that I am. Yeah, Johnny Depp really got screwed up. It's like a daily conversation in our household. Let's do this white. A little bit heavier. Disney used to be really good. Classics, meaningful messages. Not too hard to be inclusive, and it's just not working. Yeah, it's just too much. Too much. Just be diverse without trying and had some wonderful underrated films. I don't know if they were underrated, because they were pretty popular at the time. Say the last good thing Disney made was Encanto, maybe. I didn't like Encanto. But that was just me. Water. I don't have any water up here. I'll be right back. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Alright, I'm back. Hi, Average Joe. So, technically, yes. This is a... Are we good? Okay. I was freaking out for a second. If you didn't hear me, this is a homebrew Lamenter successor. Yes, they're called the Sons of Sorrow, and yes, I'm making this incursor. And I was going on about how I get confused about incursors and inceptors, even though they're completely different. So yeah, that's where we are. Welcome in, Average Joe. More water. How are you this fine evening for me? Got any projects you're working on? Paint that Crusader after all. That's right, you go for it, Maldus. You get it done. It sounds extremely overwhelming for me, but I also only paint with brushes. Favorite Emperor? This will be interesting. God Emperor, of course. Brushing the entire Dorn? Okay, well, can't say anything because I brushed my entire Brutalis Dreadnought. And it took me 3 days. The whole project itself, just the brushing didn't take that long, but it was a lot that I was not prepared for. So once I paint my impulsor, it's going to be all with brush. And I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, because it's going to be in this guy's scheme. Probably Diocletian. Late Empire favoritism, but I think he had a massive knock on the effect of how Europe and the Middle East were ruled from that point on. I can't speak on it because I don't know my Roman emperors that well. I'm not a true history nerd. Let's see, we'll use the brightest red. And then we'll need blues. Also, what did everyone think of the Warpsmith? Because as I was continuing him and I did the glowing effects, they ended up looking a lot more like lightning than they did like Warpfire, because I think I was using too bright of blues. So I just went with the lightning effect, and he just ended up being a lightning boy. And I was happy with it. I thought he turned out really sweet. And he looks good with the army. Like Aurelius because of the meditations. Also just like Stoics. Is there anything you think I could have done differently? I think if I had just used a couple darker shades of blue, that the lightning would have looked more fire-like. But I'm not entirely sure. Thinner. It was actually also my very first time using thinner medium. And oh my god, it's a game changer. Doom scrolling helped me find your channel. Followed. I'm out for now. Glad to see another Lamenter painter. Well, thanks for joining. We stream normally every Tuesday at 6:30 Central Standard Time. And yeah, feel free to join the Discord. That's an option as well. We have a lot of fun conversations over there. And hopefully we'll see you next stream. It's good to see new people. We haven't seen any new people for quite a while. Algorithm was not very kind last week, despite my best attempts. I did get 1.3k on the Possessed, which I was happy with. Yeah, things look so much better with the thinner than they do with just water. I don't know why I wasn't doing this before. I'm gonna have to stock up. Because when you use the thinner, it basically becomes more of a speed paint than it becomes a contrast paint. orange glow on the plasma looks fantastic. Thank you. That was a method I actually saw scrolling through Instagram. And it's just stippling. You start with your darkest shade, and you stipple around the outside, and then you do your white base coat, and then you do your lighter shade, and then you stipple brighter shade outside that. And it looked great. Okay. Can't give any notes on painting since I haven't really painted. Well, keep that in mind if you're ever painting plasma. Because that's how I'm going to do it from now on. Okay. I need to put another base coat of black on this base. And then I'm going to set him in front of the fan so it dries. And then I can dry brush it and finish it. And then, after 2 years, I can finally call this squad done. It was a long time coming. Also, for anyone, I don't think he's here, but I've been in discussions with Adeptus Artifexis, and I'm working on a script for him for an upcoming video, and he's going to do some VO work for me, and I'm super stoked about that. It's going to be some dialogue that he and I are going to go back and forth on as soon as I finish writing the script. I sent him what I had written so far, and he was very happy with it. So that's a little BTS for you guys. To do a very, very light coat so it doesn't take as long to dry. I didn't prime this base for some reason, because I didn't think priming bases was necessary. How wrong I was. So paint doesn't really stick that great to it. I'm looking forward to it too. I mean, I know he's not a huge channel, but he has a pretty good following, and the fact that he's working with me, and working with me so willingly, is kind of mind-boggling. And he has such a good reading voice. I'm really excited. Because I listened to one of his live reads that he has on his Discord. And it sounds wonderful. Okay. Maybe I can just blow on this. Ah! Throwing things. I need an air dryer. Not sure how long we'll go tonight. Once this guy's done. I mean, I do have others, but I'm wanting to do the kill team on Tuesday. So we'll see. Chat it up a little bit and show off some more models that I haven't shown off before. I'm going to painting my world eaters at some point. Almost there. I'm going to hyperventilate before we get there. Close. I'm only doing this because I don't want to drag black paint everywhere. It's just going to get a gray dry brush. Do we have any other lurkers in the chat who have anything, any projects they want to share? Any lore bits they want to talk about? Homebrews they'd like to discuss? Also, just a reminder, I stopped talking about it as much. A little while ago, you said you used some sort of medium instead of water. Is it like Flow Aid? Or it's Vallejo medium thinner. That's all it is. It's literally all it is. It thins your paint down. The thing I noticed with water was whenever I thin something down, it usually leaves watermarks around the edges, but the thinner doesn't do that. And that's kind of nice, and it has a little more of an even than the water does. What was I talking about? Oh, I haven't brought it up as much since we met our 100 goal, but at 200 subs, Raincloud and I will be playing a roughly 1,000 point game of 10th edition. Figuring that out and probably dreading our existences. Or not. It could be an awesome time. One of us will be playing the Fervent Storm, one of my homebrews, Chaos. And then the other one will be playing the Sons of Sorrow. And so it'll be an interesting time. And so, yeah, I've been considering if he's at all interested. We haven't really discussed it a whole lot, but if we want to keep running with the narrative with Kill Team, whenever I get this Deathwatch Kill Team, that it'll change things a little bit, because he was playing Necrons, and I was playing World Eaters. But Necrons are aliens, and Deathwatch don't like aliens, so I was trying to figure out a narrative way to get Deathwatch in, which I think would make for an interesting narrative point. But that's just me. But yeah, at 200 subs, we will be playing 1,000 points. And then I'll have to figure out a new goal beyond that, because I only have up to 1,000 points out of the 4 factions that I'm actively building at the moment. Out of 8 that I could be. But I don't have the models for all 8 at the moment. I was also considering buying a box of orcs. Making like an orc kill team. Maybe not commandos. But somebody narratively for my kill team to be chasing down. I thought that would be kind of cool. Within the narrative anyway. I don't know how it would go in any other environment. How does that look compared to this one? They look about the same. Yeah, it looks good. So we're going to paint the base frame, and this guy's going to be done. There's that sick tank busters kit. Yeah, I haven't really looked into orc models that much. So I'm not really sure what I'm playing with, since I'm not really well versed in Xenos. But I'm getting there. Slowly. Xenos are starting to become more appealing. Not the Eldar, though. They can all die. Should I wait for the Amazon Prime Day sale? Or say F it and buy the light and other hobby supplies? I mean, if it were me, I would just get it if I had the money. If not, I would wait, but if I get excited about something, I don't want to wait. Especially if it's hobby and or Warhammer stuff. Alright, well, that is my last incursor. Don't really know. I probably won't do a short on these because I'm not very proud of how they turned out. But he looks good. He'll look good with the squad. And just recently, I didn't really like Reaver kits. Like, I thought Reaver armor looked dumb. But it's starting to grow on me. Especially since I've seen it more out in the wild. Since, like, the captain in Space Marine 2 was wearing Reaver armor. And you see it in a lot more visual applications. I'm starting to grow into liking it. There, the money means to do it. Just been waiting to see if there was going to be a deal. I may just pull the trigger. I think they are short worthy. You think? Let me grab the others. Because I think they're pretty shoddy. Because they're my old method. I was half tempted just to strip them and start over again. Because, let's see. This is the most recent one I did, where I started to figure out the method that I liked, but they're still all base coated in black, which was a huge mistake. These three, all of the silver you see was just that. It was straight silver, and then I put Nuln Oil on it, like sterling silver. And then I attempted pin washing with the Nuln Oil, and I just gave up on that. Said screw it. And then I did this guy. He is the new silver method, which I use for everything now. So I base it, all the silvers, with the Vallejo natural steel, and then I do an Agrax wash over all that, and then I dry brush the sterling silver on top of that, and it looks so much better. My untrained eye, the most common viewer you'll have. I think they look good. I always send a test video to the Discord for input. I could. That is kind of what my patrons are for. My patrons are my test audience. Join me now on Patreon. $5 tier or higher gets you special access to special channels in the Discord. Yeah, I got the 5. Kind of wish I made a different one, the Sergeant, but whatever. I would almost be tempted to get another squad of 5 so I could have 10 and paint them the new method, because I'm pretty okay with how they turned out, how they look on the camera. I mean, these two here are the new method, and they do kind of stand out a little bit differently. And they do all have, you know, lore, because they're part of Sons of Sorrow, and they all have lore. They're also the 7th squad, in case there was any confusion about that. Do need to repaint all these rims. They don't look that good. I think I got the paint too thin. I'm going to do that. Oh, and then the haywire mine. It's a little... I didn't know what else to do with it. But yeah, I can shoot a test video and put it in the Discord. Definitely look good to me, but I'm the only one talking. And right at that moment, Raincloud chimes in. I was talking about how these have been 2 years in the making. And you can kind of tell the evolution of my method for the Sons of Sorrow scheme. Because I don't even use the black base coat anymore, because it's just way more work to paint the yellow. Slight bit of inconsistently, but overall they look nice. Yeah, the inconsistency is kind of what gets me. I don't know if it's something that I really want to put out there, but you guys get first look. I think you guys are the first people to ever actually see them. Hand paint the shoulders? I did. Yeah, because I didn't have any transfers, and I don't have the means to apply transfers. I don't have any microsol or microset. I do freehand pretty much everything. All the fine details. Once I get more painted, I'm probably going to do an army showcase at some point. Even though these are just over 1,000 points. And it's funny because I have like 300 points less of Sons of Sorrow than I do the Fervent Storm. But like twice as many models. But the Fervent Storm also has 15 Terminators. Plus Abaddon. Should become a neurosurgeon? Oh, no. No, 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 no. You see this close support that I painted on this dude? I really rushed through this one. You can't see it because it's not focusing, but that's super rough. But I have my Infernus Marines over there that are fire support, and they're just a triangle, so that's going to be a lot easier to freehand. They are Codex compliant, in case anyone was wondering. I think I dry brushed all these after I painted the rims. Yeah, I did a lot of these like over a year ago. Because I bought the old Blood Angels Combat Patrol. Like the last one that they had. And these guys came with it. And I kind of split it in half between the Sons of Sorrow and my Terminus Knights. Because the Terminus Knights got all the Intercessors. And then the Sons of Sorrow got these guys. And the Impulsor. Who else came in that kit? The Assault Intercessors. End up with a circle instead of a triangle. And my hearts are super inconsistent too. Since I'm going for the Lamenter's heart. Like they're all different shapes and sizes. And that's across the whole army. A couple touch-ups. But yeah, Reaver models are really starting to grow on me. If I could get a stencil or something. I don't know. I don't feel like I'd be able to hold it still long enough. I feel some people overestimate how hard freehand is. Like some of my Templar crosses are super rough, but on the table you barely notice. What is that called? The 3-foot rule? So if you're 3 feet away from the model, you can't really tell. I don't practice that because I get right in my model's faces. It's a brand that makes nail stamps, things with 40K designs. That could be helpful. Especially for the close support. Because I feel like that's the hardest tactical designation, is the close support. Because the battle line units are all arrows and then triangles for fire support. What else can we do? Are there any models you guys want to see? I'll get these guys off the table here. I do have my centerpiece for the Sons of Sorrow, which is my Brutalis Dreadnought. Pretty proud of him. This was a little bit of kit bashing. I used a toothpick as the post for the banner, and I just took this from the Mark III armor kit. But yeah, he's just covered in Nuln Oil. Like, the whole thing is covered in Nuln Oil. I think I used like a quarter of this pot, and it's almost empty. Also been meaning to ask you, do you like your model handle? Redgrass Games one. Just Tactus stick models. Sure if it has. Not sure if it's as good as the Citadel one. So I actually bought this before I even knew what Citadel was. I bought this for D&D minis. And then I figured out I can use it for 40k minis. And it works great because I can use it for the 30mm and what's the next one up? 34. But that's about as far as it goes. You can't really go any bigger than that. So it's fine for units of normal size. Camera second. But yeah, he ended up being a lot grimier than I wanted him to be. And I also had to put the paint on so thick that I can't get the front door, like the front compartment to his sarcophagus, open all the way. So I can get the top part open, but I can't get the bottom part. So that's kind of sad, but it is what it is. This was before I did the new method. But I did the base to resemble Gardor, which is their current, the Sons of Sorrow's current campaign during the Alperan War. So I used Spur to make the metal spikes that the Fervent Storm and the Steel Vanguard put up. I don't see that being an issue. But whoever ends up playing the Sons of Sorrow gets to use him when we hit 1,000. Or when we play 1,000. So I'm a little jealous of that. Because he's my favorite big model that I have. The only other big one I have is my Pulsar. Which I haven't painted yet, but he is primed. And he should have been primed white too. But I always have trouble with this stubber breaking. Looks like it needs to be re-glued again anyway. And these hatch doors. But once I get it painted, I think it'll be okay. Should have done sub-assemblies. I'm gonna go walk the dog now, sending what I got done during the stream in Discord. Sweet, thanks Melodus. I think we're gonna wrap up here anyway. And we'll see you Tuesday, hopefully. Yeah, he's pretty sweet. Love to see that get painted. Yeah, I don't want to do it the same way. I'm not quite sure how I want to do it. I don't know how to do, like, divide the colors, because I want to use the same scheme. I don't know. It'll be interesting. And I'm wishing I had magnets for it, so I could have gone with the Meltas and the Stormbolters. But I didn't when I built it, so I just glued everything. And the, is it the Icarus missile launcher? I think that's right. But yeah, the Sons of Sorrow have all the cool stuff out of the stuff that I own. My goal my goal for the Fervent Storm, it's going to offset the points quite a bit, but I want to get a Great Unclean One to fight with them, because that works into my lore too, because Gardor, they're trying to make it a demon world. So I want a Great Unclean One to show up, and I've written him into the lore. I would just have to get some different paints, because I don't really have any good Nurgle selections of paints. I'd want to try out some like speed paints for him. So I'd probably get a speed paint kit. Doing magnets beforehand. Funny story about magnets in my Warhammer store I'll have to sell one time. Yeah, but I think I'm just gonna call it here for tonight. I wanted to see how the camera looked, how everybody liked it, how the angle looks. Here. And, oh, Rain Cloud, if you're here, I fixed a lot of the color issues that I had. Figured out how to do that. So, this looks way better. And this camera should look way better too. But, yeah, so we got the banner, that's new. Got my face, that's new. You should reasonably be able to see my models, kinda. They need to be lit. I need to get some ambient lighting there. But yeah. Alright. Well, have a good night, Rushtiv. Don't forget, anyone who's here, you can join the Discord. Have homebrew conversations. We have hobby conversations. Trying to push for a little bit more lore conversations, because you know that's the fun stuff. Find me on Patreon, Faceplant104. You get some exclusive stuff there, $5 tier or higher. You can get some exclusive Discord channels, and that's fun. And we will see everybody on Tuesday at 6:30. So, thank you all.